Let's face it, babies are expensive. A lot of people are pushing off having kids until they feel like they can afford it. But how do you know if you're financially ready? Today, I'm going to break down the actual cost of having a baby today, not when your parents had babies, and what you can do to prepare financially. We're breaking down the five biggest hidden costs of a baby's first year. Hint, it's not just diapers and onesies. And more importantly, we're going to be giving you concrete step-by-step plan to build your financial fortress so you can welcome your baby with confidence and joy instead of a mountain of financial anxiety. This chapter of life is so fun. You've met your person, you're in love, you're excited about starting a family. You've scrolled through baby names lists. You picture their tiny little feet and their tiny little face, and you're even trying to wrap your head around the whole no sleep thing. It's one of the most incredible chapters of your life. But here's a number that might make you sit down. Depending on your income and where you live, the average cost of raising a child to age 18 is now estimated to be around $320,000. And let's face it, expenses don't end at age 18. And in more expensive states, that number can climb well over $400,000. But don't be scared. For every cost and financial hurdle we talk about, I'm going to give you a specific financial fortress action step that you can take to protect yourself against it and make your finances unshakable in this new chapter of life. But I get it. That baby number is so big, it almost sounds made up. But the real financial gut punch doesn't come from that giant far off figure. It comes from a tidal wave of cost that very first year. We're talking about an average of 18 to $30,000 in just the first 12 months, and even more in major cities. This is the financial whirlwind that catches so many new parents completely off guard. So, before you start trying, before you toss out that birth control, you need to see this. And stay to the end because I'm going to sum it all up with a three-step action plan you need to be able to climb this mountain effortlessly. All right, so let's get into it. Most people think about the obvious stuff: a crib, a car seat, some adorable little outfits. But the expenses can truly wreck your budget are the ones you don't see coming. We're going to tackle them one by one. Hidden cost number one: the medical bills, even with great insurance. So let's start with the one that hits you before the baby even arrives. You have health insurance, you pay your premiums every month. So you figure I should be covered, right? Well, sort of. Even with a good employer sponsored health insurance plan, the average out of pocket cost for prenatal care, delivery, and postpartum care can be a shock. For childbirth with insurance, the cost is going to be around $2,800. But that's just your slice of the pie. The total bill the insurance company sees for a standard delivery can be over $14,000. And for a C-section, it can soar past $26,000. Your portion of that depends entirely on your deductible, your copay, and your out of pocket maximum. If you're on a high deductible plan, you could be on the hook for thousands right out of the gate. And that's if everything goes perfectly. Any complication, like a NICU stay for the baby or extra medical care for the mom, can add tens of thousands of dollars to your bill. And beyond the birth, you've got frequent well baby visits, unexpected trips to the doctors for fevers or ear infections, and maybe even specialist appointments. While many checkups have low copays, sick visits often don't, and those costs can really pile up. So here is your financial fortress tip number one: get real answers from your insurance. Before you're even pregnant, call your insurance provider. You need to be your own advocate. Ask them these specific questions: what is my individual deductible? What is my family deductible? What is my out of pocket maximum? How exactly are maternity services, delivery, and postpartum care covered? What's the average out of pocket cost for a vaginal delivery versus C section on my specific plan? Knowing these numbers ahead of time is your first line of defense. It lets you start saving for that specific amount so when the bills show up, the money is already there. This turns a potential crisis into a planned expense. And make sure you always check what can be covered with your health savings account as well. Okay, so hidden cost number two, that one time purchases that aren't. This is the category where savvy, budget conscious parents think they can win. You make your list, right? Crib, car seat, stroller, you hunt for sales, you get some hand me downs, and you feel like you've got it handled. The sticker shock isn't just from one single item, but from the relentless volume and the unexpected replacements. First, the big ticket items. So a decent crib can run you 200 to over $1,000. A safe new infant car seat is about 150 to 300. And a stroller, the basic one can be like a $150 model or a high-end system can cost over a grand. Your travel gear alone, stroller, car seat, baby carrier can easily set you back anywhere from 300 to $2,000 in the first year. But here's the trick. That infant car seat, your baby will probably outgrow it within the first year. And then you have to buy a bigger, more expensive convertible car seat. That chic bassinet for your bedroom, it's safe for only a first few months before you really need the crib. And you might realize that lightweight stroller you got is awful for the neighborhood walks. So you end up buying a second, sturdier one. These one time buys often have sequels that you didn't budget for. And then there's just the mountain of smaller gear. So, a baby monitor, a diaper pail, a high chair, a baby bathtub, a swinger bouncer, bottles, sterilizers. The list goes on forever. Individually, they seem manageable. Together, you're looking at a bill that can easily top a couple $1,000 just in setup costs alone. So, here is your financial fortress tip number two: prioritize, delay, and buy used safely. You do not need to buy everything before the baby arrives. Your newborn doesn't need a high chair for 6 months. They don't need a library of toys. Focus on the absolute must haves for the first 3 months: a safe place to sleep, a safe way to travel in a car seat, and basic feeding supplies. For everything else, wait. See what you actually need. For things like clothes, bouncers, and gently used toys, embrace the secondhand marketplace. You can save hundreds, if not thousands. But remember, always buy the car seats new. This ensures that they meet the current safety standards and have no hidden accident history. So the goal here is to just flatten out your spending curve, spreading it out over a year instead of taking a massive financial hit all at once. And if you're lucky enough to have a village of support like family and friends, these are perfect items to put on your baby registry before your baby shower. Okay, so hidden cost number three, the supply tsunami beyond diapers. Everyone knows baby need diapers. And yes, they need an astonishingly large number of them, close to 2,000 in the first year alone, which can cost you $70 to $80 a month. That's almost $1,000 in a year just for diapers. But the real hidden cost is the sheer volume of every other consumable you'll be buying. So let's talk about feeding. If you choose formula feed or even just supplement, this can become one of your biggest new monthly expenses, ranging from $40 to $300 a month. That could be thousands in the first year alone. And I'll be the first to say how criminally high these prices are, especially for women who don't have the option to breastfeed. There should absolutely be more support and programs out there to keep these costs affordable for low income families. And for those who are breastfeeding, it's not as free as they make it seem. You will still need pumps, creams, and storage bags, and maybe even an appointment with a lactation consultant or two. Then come the wipes, which you'll use for literally everything. They're seriously the best, but it really adds another $10 to $20 a month. And throw in diaper cream, baby soap, special laundry detergent, teething gel, gas drops, and thermometers. These little purchases can easily add another $50 to $100 to your monthly budget. Clothing is going to be another cost. Babies grow so fast, they often need a new wardrobe every 3 months that first year. Luckily, it does slow down a bit after that, depending on your kid's growth curve. But even if you're frugal, budgeting $40 to $80 a month for clothes is probably realistic. All in all, these reoccurring supplies can easily add a couple $100 to your monthly spending, blowing up your old grocery budget. So here is your financial fortress tip number three: automate and buy in bulk. The best way to tame these reoccurring costs is to treat them like a utility bill. Create a baby supplies line item in your monthly budget, say $250 to start, and stick to it. Sign up for subscription services for things like diapers and wipes. You often get a discount and it makes the cost really predictable. So for formula, watch for sales and buy in bulk. For the clothes, ask friends with slightly older kids for some hand me downs. There is zero shame in this game, and most parents are happy to have an excuse to declutter some old baby gear, knowing they'll be of good use to someone else, especially a close friend or family member. It's the smart, financially savvy way to parent, and every parent has been there. By budgeting for it all, you turn a chaotic stream of little purchases into one predictable expense. Okay, hidden cost number four: the lifestyle creep. This might be the most sneaky cost of all because it doesn't come directly from a baby store. It's the slow, quiet expansion of your entire life and your expenses along with it. First, it starts with your home. That cozy one bedroom apartment that was perfect for a couple suddenly feels like a closet. You start thinking you need a nursery, more storage, maybe a small yard. Housing is the single largest expense category for raising a child, and the pressure to upsize is real. You might not move in the first year, but the desire and the financial planning for more expensive home starts then. Then it's going to be the car. Trying to cram an car seat in the back of a two-door coupe is a special kind of stress. You start browsing for SUVs or minivans, which are often more expensive to buy, insure, and fuel. Your utility bills will also quietly climb. You'll be doing more laundry than you ever thought possible. You'll keep the heat a little higher in the winter and the AC a little cooler in the summer. These small adjustments can add a surprising amount to your monthly bills. Even your food budget might grow as you have less time and energy to cook, leading to more expensive convenience foods or take out a little bit more often. A baby doesn't just need its own budget, it expands every other category in your budget. So, here is my financial fortress tip number four: the practice baby budget. This is a game changer. So, for 3 to 6 months before you even start trying, budget your post baby budget. Calculate your estimated new cost, childcare, a bigger grocery bill, that baby supplies fund, and critically factor in the income drop that we're going to talk about next. On the first of every month, transfer that entire baby budget amount, so the new cost plus the lost income, into a separate savings account. This is two brilliant things. First, it's a real world stress test to see if you can actually live on that reduced cash flow. Second, it's a stealth savings plan. After 6 months, you'll have a huge chunk of cash saved up to become your baby emergency fund. Least hidden cost number five: the income drop. We spend so much time obsessing over new expenses that we forget the other side of the ledger: a potential massive drop in income. The United States is one of the only developed nations without national paid family leave policy. And while some laws might protect your job for up to 12 weeks, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to get paid. Some states and companies are better than others, offering paid leave, but many new parents are forced to take at least some time off without pay. This can be a huge shock. Losing even a few weeks of a paycheck right when your expenses are exploding can derail everything. And if one parent decides to stay home longer or permanently, you are shifting from a dual income to a single income household. That is the single largest financial shift a family can make. Even if both parents go back to work, you're now hit with the staggering cost of childcare, which in many states costs more than in state college tuition. Full time childcare can run from $8,000 a year for daycare to over $25,000 for a nanny. It's a monumental expense that can feel like a second mortgage. So here's my financial fortress tip number five: become a parental leave expert. Both partners need to go to their HR department and get a crystal clear written explanation of the company's parental leave policy. How many weeks do you get? How many are paid? Is it full pay or partial pay? Once you know this, you can accurately model the income drop in your practice baby budget. If one of you is thinking about staying home, you must practice living on that single income for at least 6 months. It's not just about surviving, it's about seeing what kind of life that single income provides and if you're both happy with that new reality. Okay, so I know we've thrown a lot of scary numbers at you. Take a deep breath. Knowing is half the battle. Now, let's talk about how to fight back. Building a financial fortress isn't about being rich, it's about being prepared. Here are the three non negotiable steps that you need to take. Action step one, the pre baby financial summit. Before anything else, you need a clear, no judgment look at your current financial health. This means sitting down with your partner and putting everything on the table. Review your income, all your expenses, all your debts, all your savings. Use a budgeting app or simple spreadsheet, but you need to track every single dollar for a month or two just to see where your money is actually going. Once you have that baseline, you can start identifying areas to cut back. This is the time to be ruthless with non essential spending. The money you save from cutting subscriptions, dining out less, and curbing impulse buys is money that you can rocket launch towards your baby saving goal. You can't build a fortress on shaky ground. Okay, action step two, supercharge your emergency fund. If you do only one thing on this list and your one takeaway from the video, make it this one. Your emergency fund is your financial shock absorber. A common rule of thumb is to have 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses saved. For expecting parents, I strongly recommend aiming for the high end of that range and probably even more than that. A baby introduces a whole new level of financial unknowns. What if the birth is more complicated and expensive? What if your unpaid leave stretches longer than you planned? What if the car dies right after you bought all the baby gear? A robust emergency fund turns a potential catastrophe into a manageable inconvenience. This money needs to be in a separate high yield savings account. It's not for investing. It's not for planned baby purchases. It's a glass box that you only break in case of true emergencies. This cash cushion is the single greatest thing you can do to lower your stress that first year. All right, action step number three, the grown up stuff, insurance and real estate plan. So, this is the stuff that everybody puts off, but it becomes non negotiable when a child is on the way. First, as we discussed, become an expert on your health insurance. Second, you absolutely must get life insurance. A common guideline is term life insurance policy worth at least 10 times your annual salary. If something were to happen to you or your partner, this ensures your family can stay in the home, pay for childcare, and fund their future. It's not for you, it's for them. You should also check your disability insurance and coverage through work and consider supplementing it. This protects your income if you get sick or injured and can't work. Finally, create a will and name a legal guardian for your child. I know it's hard to think about, but it's a critical part of being a responsible parent. Without a will, a court decides who raises your child, and it might not be who you would have chosen. These topics obviously aren't fun, but they are the essential pillars of true financial fortress, protecting your family from the worst case scenarios. The numbers are big and the to do list can feel overwhelming, but knowledge and planning are power. By understanding the real costs and taking these steps now, you are giving your future family an incredible gift, peace of mind. And now I want to hear from you. For all the parents out there watching, what was the most unexpected baby expense that completely blindsided you the first year? What's your number one money saving tip for new parents? Share your wisdom in the comments below. Your experience could be the exact thing somebody else needs to hear today. You can't put a price on the joy of becoming a parent, but you absolutely can and absolutely should put a price on about everything else. Thinking you're ready for a baby is one thing. Knowing your bank account is ready is something else entirely. The goal here isn't to scare you away from having children, of course, but is to empower you to walk into parenthood with eyes wide open, financially prepared for the challenges so you can fully embrace the joy. Building this fortress now means you're going to spend less time worrying about money and more time worrying about which adorable little animal sound you're going to teach them next. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more content that helps you build a stronger financial future for you and your family. See you in the next video.